that is Top Kohen, is expected to be conducted today at the Chiromo mortuary. The exercise aborted yesterday after his widow, Sarah Wairimo, demanded that a different government pathologist leads the exercise. Chief pathologist Johansson Oduor has had to cut short his leave to attend to the matter. And those are live pictures that you're getting live on your screen. That is Chiromo Funeral Parlor, and it is at this venue where the post-mortem will be conducted today. Our reporter Lennox Sengre is on that report. Now, the national assessment of learners in grade 3 continues countrywide as the Education Ministry evaluates the progress of the new curriculum. The exercise is being conducted by class teachers, and learners will not lead to ranking of pupils. Now, the ministry insists that the national assessment will not determine transition to the next class. All grade 3 learners will transition to grade 4 under the 100% transition policy. Now, as we've been briefing you during the first hour of the show, the Senate continues its sittings in Kitui today in an initiative to take its proceedings out of Nairobi. Yesterday, senators extended their sitting at the Kitui Multipurpose Hall as they debated and eventually passed the county allocation of revenue bill. Now, this means counties will start receiving their disbursements as soon as this Thursday. And participation of women in trade for inclusive and sustainable development is currently ongoing at the Intercontinental Hotel here in Nairobi. Trade Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya is the chief guest at this event. And it promises to be a busy day within the corridors of justice at the Milimani Law Courts. A former cabinet secretary, that is Henry Rotich, alongside other suspects in the Aror and Kimwarer dams scandal, are expected to appear before Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti ahead of the pre-trial, which has been slated for the 23rd of September this year. And still at the Milimani Law Courts, a case filed by former Kibra Member of Parliament Ken Okon's widow, that is Monica, and mother Angeline, comes up for hearing. The two women had objected to DNA results released 2 weeks ago. And still from the courts today, Kiambu County Governor Ferdinand Waitito and his Samburu counterpart, that is Lenol Kulal, will be at the Court of Appeal today, where they are seeking to get orders that were issued by Justice Mombi Ngoge that they cannot access their offices to be reversed. Now, the two have appealed the orders issued by various courts, and it is definitely a story that we are following up for you right here on the Daily Brief. Now, those are the live pictures that we are getting from the Court of Appeal in as far as that case is concerned. So let's listen in to what's happening there.
Fourthly, my lord, yes, I wish to argue grounds 10 and 11 together, yes, under the broad issue that the failure of the High Court, or the failure of the learned judge of the High Court to find that the restriction or the orders of the trial court of the 15th of May 2019 were unlawful and unconstitutional, as they rendered the appellant before you this morning subject to the control of the Chief Executive Officer of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Fifthly, and the last ground that I will argue, is ground number 12. On that, my Lord, I will argue under the issue of the failure of the Judge of the High Court to assess the effect of the orders that were before her in the application for review. And perhaps, my Lord, in the most meaningful time-saving measure,
to assess the effect of the orders.
The orders of the subordinate, of the magistrate's court, the trial court that were before her in the application for review. And lastly, my Lords, perhaps the most meaningful and welcome time-saving measure is that I am abandoning ground 5 and 13.
And also, it is worth noting that from Parliament, this issue too has elicited mixed reactions after Lenol Kulal, the Samburu County Governor, could not appear before the County Public Accounts and Investments Committee, and the chair of that select committee, that is Moses Kajwang, I beg your pardon, cited that it would be illegitimate for the governor to appear before that committee, owing to Justice Mumbi Ngoge's ruling. Now let's move on to a local news update. As of now, embattled Kisumu Speaker Onyango Olo was repulsed by anti-riot officers as he attempted to enter the county assembly. His ally, MCA Kajuju Ward Roy Samo, was also caught up in the melee as the officers lobbed tear gas canisters. Now passers-by were also forced to scamper for safety as police engaged in running battles with the lawmakers outside the county assembly precinct, and Kisumu MCAs had yesterday drafted a motion to impeach the embattled Olo, who is facing fraud-related charges. The motion is yet to be debated. And earlier on, those are the images we were able to capture for you from Kisumu County. As of now, we have Baraka Karama, who's following up on this story and will keep briefing us in the course of the daily brief and during our subsequent bulletins. Now, Samburu Governor Moses Lenol Kulala has been prohibited from selling, charging, leasing, developing and transferring a parcel of land situated in Karen, Nairobi, pending the hearing and determination of a case filed against him by the Anti-Corruption Commission. The governor has also been barred from dealing with funds contained in 2 accounts held at the Kenya Commercial Bank. In the suit, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is seeking recovery of over 80 million Kenya shillings from the governor as proceeds of corruption and for forfeiture of the parcels of land acquired with the proceeds of corrupt conduct. Now let's get to understand what has been happening at the international front, where Israel's second general election in 5 months suggests the result is too close to call. The centrist blue and white alliance of former military chief Benny Gantz is projected to win between 32 and 34 seats, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing Likud party 30 to 33 seats. Netanyahu called the snap vote after failing to form a governing coalition in the wake of an election in April. Negotiations on the formation of a new coalition are expected to start as soon as the preliminary results come in on Wednesday morning. Now, Nigerian police have arrested 2 suspects in connection with hotel serial killings in the southern city, Port Harcourt. At least 8 women have been found strangled in different hotel rooms in Nigeria's oil capital in the Rivers State since July. Outrage over the killings has prompted a social media campaign to demand the authorities to do more to stop them. One man was arrested after a tip-off that he had offered money to spend the night with a woman. The other suspect had been arrested in Kaduna, in central Nigeria. Let's cross over to South Korea, which has confirmed a second case of African swine fever at a pig farm near the border with North Korea, a day after reporting its first ever outbreak of the virus, deadly to pigs but not harmful to humans. The second case was detected at a farm in Yeoncheon, northwest of the capital Seoul, where 4,700 pigs had been raised. North Korea reported its first case in late May, and the first outbreak of African swine fever in East Asia was reported in China in early August 2018, and the virus has since spread across Asia. The disease is nearly 100% fatal and highly contagious among pigs with no known cure or vaccine. Right, that is how our news diary looks alike in as far as the local update and international news is concerned. We shall keep piecing in more flesh in as far as the updates to these stories is concerned and keep running them by you in the course of the show and during our subsequent bulletins. Right now, let's get an update from Uasin Gishu County. Let's bring in our reporter Timothy Simwa, who joins us live to brief us on how the news diary looks like in Uasin Gishu County today. Tim.
Good morning to you, Samuel Njoroge. Just like it's a busy day in the coast in Nairobi, it's not an exception in Eldoret. And this morning, a case that would somewhat sound familiar will be heard at the High Court of Eldoret. This is a case pitting a group of parents from Chebisas Boys High School and the school board of management. A bit of the history about the case is that sometime last time, a group of students were suspended from the school on the grounds the school says was indiscipline. But when they got home, the story has since changed. Actually, the story we have from the parents is that these students were suspended from the school because they declined to at least cooperate with the rules that they deemed were against their beliefs. We are told that the parents of these students are actually Seventh-day Adventists. And when they were told to sit for an exam and attend preps on a Saturday, they told the school administration that that was not in tandem with what they believed in. The school then moved to suspend them. And when they got home, the parents took them back to school. The school declined and told the parents that these particular students were being indicted in discipline cases. The parents maintained that their children were innocent, and that's why they moved to the High Court of Eldoret to seek redress and, of course, for the court to adjudicate on the matter. Whereas the school maintains they have nothing against the belief of these students nor their parents, the parents still maintain that their children are at home because of merely what they believe in and perhaps the denomination they subscribe to. So this morning, some hearing is said to be had before the High Court of Eldoret to determine whether there is real grounds for the suspension of the students or whether indeed it's an issue of religious conflict, of course, with the school rules. Like we have seen in many parts of the country, just the other day, a court in Eldoret made a ruling about the deadlocked student, of course, giving him, or rather giving her the opportunity to be schooled, her religious beliefs notwithstanding. So a short time from now, some parents will be here. They'll be giving a press to members of the press, of a statement rather, just to explain their grievance and the reason why they moved to court. We're also trying to get in touch with the County Director of Education just to get to give us some light on whether or not his office tried to move in and make sure that they are trying to solve this matter so that it doesn't go to that extent, because the parents still say even after the court ruled that the students students be reinstated back to their classes. As the case continues, the school still send them away at the beginning of the time, thereby affecting their studies. So it's an issue that we'll also be keeping tabs, and just to see whether the precedent that was set in the court the other day will also apply at the High Court of Eldoret in this particular case. And away from that, Sam, we also know that we've been talking about the issue of land rights in Uasin Gishu, and today we are told that landowners will be meeting to formally form an association that will help them, of course, advocate their case at the High Court should they move to court. And of course, we also told that the members of the County Assembly for Uasin Gishu are equally on board in, of course, solidarity with the landowners, just to make sure that the dialogue with the county government of Uasin Gishu to find a way forward so that the standoff that is currently between landowners and the county government is solved amicably going forward. These are the two issues Sam will be keeping tabs to just see what will be the outcome. Sam.
Thank you so much, Timothy Simwa, for joining us live from Uasin Gishu County, briefing us on how the news diary looks like from that end. Yet again, the relationship between education and religion will be tested. Well, it will be interesting to see how that plays out from Uasin Gishu County. And as far as land rates is concerned, there will be a meeting held by landowners in Uasin Gishu County. Remember, they are protesting the hiking of land rates by up to 600%, and they accuse the county government of Uasin Gishu as having not consulted them before they made this decision. So definitely issues that will be coming forth from Uasin Gishu County that will be following up for you right here at K24 TV. Right now, would like to take you to the Court of Appeal. We did tell you that Kiambu County Governor, that is Ferdinand Waitito, and his Samburu counterpart, that is Moses Lenol Kulal, have moved to the Court of Appeal. Of course, this is to, seek a reverse of orders issued against them not to access their respective county offices. Let's listen in to what's happening at the Court of Appeal.
To the criminal division had moved her ladyship to declare the provisions of section 62(6) to be unconstitutional. Yes. And if they had, and I make the point later on that the judge violates the appellant's right to a fair hearing by introducing arguments into a decision at the point she's writing a ruling without those arguments having been made by any of the parties before her, and without her putting those points to the applicant before her, so that her decision about the constitutionality or otherwise of section 62(6) is informed by arguments by the parties who bothered to attend before her when the application for revision was heard. My lords, the learned judge of the High Court begins to express difficulty about the constitutionality of section 62(6) at paragraph 48 of her decision. That is to be found on page 54 of the record before you this morning.
Now, Sarah Wairimu's lawyer, Philip Murgo, is addressing the press at Chiromo Mortuary. Let's cross over and listen into what he's saying.
I can't look at all. That one only. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Remember yesterday there was a statement issued, and we did designate Mr. Ndegwa as our spokesman, but Dr. Ndegwa is our spokesman, but he's not here today. The proceedings have been held up a little because you recall yesterday we were to obtain an order from the High Court so that Sarah Wairimu Cohen could be brought to attend the postmortem. We were not successful yesterday evening, but the matter came up before Justice Mutuku, and I'm happy to report that an order has just been given that Sarah Wairimu Cohen has to be present at the post-mortem, and so an order is being extracted which will be served on the prison authorities so that she can be brought and be present. So whatever the case, these proceedings will not start until she is brought from Langata Women's Prison. In addition to that, you are aware that there was some X-raying or CT scan to be done yesterday. It was done, and I can report that Dr. Gashie is coming up, is at Kenyatta National Hospital bringing those reports for his colleagues and for their consideration as a team of pathologists. So that really is where we are at this point. Thank you. Any questions?
So can you confirm that Dr. Johansson Oduor is around?
I can't confirm. I have heard from my colleagues, the lawyers. Johansson is around? Is around. And Professor Rugena, she is also coming. And Professor Gashie is at Kenyatta getting the reports from yesterday.
Can we confirm that the post-mortem is going to take place today?
As of now, I'm very hopeful. Our colleagues, my colleagues, you see them there. They have left their very important work because they believe it will take place. So we are hopeful, and we would like it to take place.
So roughly, like how long can it take for you to serve the order? So that
No. The state was present. I believe Mr. Mutuku, Senior Director of Public Prosecutions, or is it Senior Deputy Director, was present. Inspector Otieno was in court. So it's not a question of service. It's a question of implementation. Sawa. I think we are still on the same side.
And from the Chiromo mortuary today, we are receiving an update in as far as the top Cohen's murder probe is concerned, that an order has been issued by the court that Sarah Wairimu be present during the post-mortem. Remember, yesterday, Philip Murgo, lawyer representing Sarah Wairimu, did say that he will be moving to court to seek orders to have Sarah Wairimu present during this post-mortem process to among other things, identify the body of her late husband. And as per that presser this morning, that order has been granted, and the post-mortem will begin as soon as she arrives at Chiromo mortuary from Langata Women's Prison. As I told you earlier, Lennox Sengre is still following up on this story, and he'll be giving us more details as and when he gets them right here on the Daily Brief and during our subsequent bulletins at K24 TV. Right now, would like to take you back to the court and listen in to the currently ongoing, where Ferdinand Waitito and Moses Lenol Kulal are seeking a reverse on the orders issued to both of them not to access their respective county offices until the corruption cases that have been leveled against them are heard and determined. So let's listen in to what's happening at the Court of Appeal.
That is the only place that she suggests that Section 62(6) is unconstitutional. And she does not strike it down as she is entitled to do. So 62(6) remains good law. The judge merely chose not to apply the provisions of 62(6). But back to my argument about the constitutionality of Section 62(6). I wish to pose the question, and this is a question that I believe is a proper question for your lordships to consider, if you are minded to consider the issue of the constitutionality of 62(6), is what is the constitutional rationale for the provisions of Section 62(6) of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act?
Constitutional rationale of?
What is the constitutional rationale that underpins the provisions of Section 62(6)? I will not trouble members of the court with reading 62(6) again. I have done it enough times this morning. But I submit that the constitutional rationale is as follows. One, the Constitution establishes various offices. The Constitution provides for the manner in which those or persons who hold those offices may be removed and how those offices may become vacant. In respect of the appeal that is before you this morning, the controlling provisions and the provisions that Section 62(6) pays due deference to are the provisions of Article 181 and 182 of the Constitution. The orders that were made by the Magistrates Court and the orders that are then affirmed by the decision that is before you this morning have the effect of making it temporarily impossible or making the appellant's attendance to his office subject to an authority other than the Constitution.
So come again of the effect of?
The effect of making it impossible or making the appellant's attendance to his office as governor of Samburu County subject to the authority of the CEO of the EACC, and I submit that that is making it subject to an authority other than the Constitution. And at this point, again, in asking the question, what is the rationale, what is the constitutional rationale for Section 62(6), I wish to refer your lordships to Article 182, Sub-Article 1D of the Constitution. Article 182, Sub-Article 1D of the Constitution of this Republic. And I submit that that article of the Constitution...
The determination made by the courts today, or whenever they are ready, in as far as this case is concerned, will definitely inform much in